I feel like sibling rivalry, you know, boys fighting and arguing is a very normal part of growing up. You know, we used to punch each other, that kind of thing.
Of course, yeah.
You've got brothers yourself.
Yeah.
I think our superpower was as we came into adulthood and realized how alone we were on Earth, like, or in the world, that we transformed that kind of rivalry or any jealousy or anything we had for each other into teamwork.
Into a partnership,
yeah,
right?
but you don't think that way at 8 or 9 years of age. Finished work. First it was school, but then as I got older, you finish work, then what do? Go home and do what? Play video games? Jerk off? Like, no.
I know you two boys have got way too much energy.
You go to the kickboxing gym.
Right?
You get beaten up, you get tired, you wake up the next morning, you go to work, you come home from work, what's there to do tonight? Nothing, kickboxing gym. Occasionally go out on a Friday or Saturday night, but what else was there really to do? I feel like, and I'm going to go on a bit of a rant.
No, let's do it.
I feel like the talent pools of athletes, musicians, anything that's moderately impressive they're being diluted and they're vanishing in today's world. So when I was in jail in January, I saw a music video where Jimmy Page, the guitarist from Led Zeppelin, was playing the guitar. And Andrew went, fucking hell, he's good. How did he get so good? I said, I'll tell you how he got so good. Because every boy who was 14 or 15 got a guitar for his birthday.
Yeah.
And millions of them tried to learn how to play. And a few became very, very good. You identified through the use of guitars the most talented guitarists in the world. How many 16-year-old boys get guitar for their birthday nowadays?
None.
What do they get? A PlayStation. What do they get? A Nintendo. My proudest moment growing up, I was 24 or 23. The television advertising business had died, and me and Andrew had moved on to other things. But there was this one client that we were trying to work with. We were trying to get this company on television. Very, very big budgets. Me and Andrew were set to make, I mean, the profit wasn't big. It was like, £500,000, but it all had to be spent on airtime and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
But me and Andrew were set to make about 60-something thousand pounds.
Which back then,
Woo! I had never seen more than 15 in my life. Yeah. So we were set to make 60,000 pounds together. And we finally made the commercials and put them on television, and we got the deal and we got the money in the bank. And we bought an old Aston Martin. It was an Aston Martin Vantage. Do you remember the first one I ever bought?
I do. I remember it very well.
We bought this old second-hand Aston Martin Vantage that wasn't in the best shape, but it cost us £60,000 exactly.
That was everything you had?
We scraped together enough money to pay the insurance for it. And I was driving home from the showroom in Cambridge with Andrew in that car, and that will always be my proudest memory. And that's very poor financial advice, because buying a car with all 60,000 pounds of your money is a poor financial decision. And people still have a go at me about this today. So young people and internet entrepreneurs will buy like their first Lamborghini and their first Ferrari. And people will quite rightfully check them and be like, oh, well, you shouldn't have bought that Ferrari. You should have invested it in this. You should have invested it in that. And in one way, they're right. But in another way, I was a 24-year-old who owned an Aston Martin outright. No finance agreement, no rental agreements. I was 24 and I owned an Aston Martin. So if you think you get a big chunk of money, it's the only money you're ever going to have in your life, yeah, invest it, do whatever. But if you believe in yourself, if you believe in your abilities, if you believe in your capability as a man to go out and keep conquering, then by all means buy the Aston Martin. People will always talk shit and people will always hate on you for doing well in life. But yeah, if you're a young man and you've closed your first big deal and you have your first bit of money and there's a car you want, maybe it's a BMW, maybe it's a Mercedes, I would say, with all the financial advisors and business nerds on Twitter who will tell me not to say this, I would say go out and buy that car. Yeah. And then that car will increase your image, and then continue working, continue grinding, and then buy more cars.
And it motivated you to do more.
Now I can buy anything I like.
So if you could give advice to 16-year-old Tristan today, other than stay away from Rory, what would it be?
I wouldn't want to tell him anything that would impact his future.
Yeah.
I would like him to do everything. I'd like him to have the kickboxing fights he had, get his nose broken, lose the fights he lost because he didn't train enough, run his stupid webcam studio, you know, sell it, fail in the TV advertising business, not be able to pay his electricity. I would like him to go through everything. I would just say, call your parents more often, call your dad more. That's the only thing I would go back in time and tell him.